So I will explain each of the variables later. So these are the variables I declared for the class calculate1, which is actually the elements or components that will be displayed on the calculate, which is also a JFrame. Okay. So the constructor should be very straightforward. So first, in a constructor, when I create these JFrame object called calculator1, so I'm gonna settle the title, which is supposed to be displayed on the top. Okay, so that's the title. I put the title my calculator. So if I actually enlarge this, you can see the title. But you know, and this is the size, which is 230 by 200. So that means its length is 230 and the width is 200. Okay, so that's 230 by 200, and that's the pixel. Okay, so I 230 by 200. It's actually square pixels. It's actually the it's 230 pixels width, 200 actually pixels height. Okay, and then the container is this particular piece, excluded the title bar. So that's the container. So the container is actually defined in the JFrame. If you can call one of the method called get content pane, and then you will get the container. So container is also a class, which is also declared in the JFrame. So I have to call this method to get the container, and that's the pane. That's the container object called a pane. So every component, like a display field and the buttons, will be actually positioned in the pane, in the container, not directly in the JFrame. Okay. So then I set the container set the layout. By default, I use now as the argument. So I basically set the layout. That means I put the container in the pane in the JFrame. Okay. And then the display text, that's the J text field, the display text. So that's the top display field. Okay. And it's called text field. The display text, I set the size, which is 200 by 30. So 200 is the length, 30 is the height. Okay. So 200 by 30 square pixels. So now if I actually show you this, let me actually delete all this. So if you check this, so that's 30, and this is actually 200. Okay, so it's a 200 by 30 pixel, and that's the J field, and I call it text display, I believe. I call it text display. So this is actually the container. Okay, so I declared it as pane, right? Then I have 16 actually J buttons, so 16 buttons, and each of these 7, 8, 9, that's each of the character is actually a string. It's a declared as string. It's also 16 array of 16 streams. But the first actually string array contains 7. The second one contains 8. So each of these string array actually corresponding to the J button array. So this is how it works. Okay. So the whole frame was declared as 260 by 200. Okay. I think that's pretty much the original setting. So that's the display text field and display. And then I set a location to 1010. So let me actually bring this up again. The location is set to be 1010. So so that means the location of this display set to be 1010. So that's point the top left spot, the point corner is basically defines the location. It's 1010 because it's actually original is here. That's the original and the top left corner of the container. And then so this basically defines the value 10, and also this defines the value 10. So this is actually in the location 1010. So you can think about this. This is a coordinate, two-dimensional coordinate. That's the this direction is the x-axis, and this direction is the y-axis. So the x-axis, the value for x-axis is 10 for this point, and the y coordinate is also 10. So that's the location. Okay. So the next location for the button, so it's going to be x coordinate going to be the same, which is 10. The y coordinate, you will see that it's a 10 plus 30, right? So it should be, this should be 10, 40. So basically this, what is this? Okay. Now it depends on what's the width of this button. Okay. So we're going to actually talk about a little bit later. So it's so important that you put a right position for each of the component. Okay. When you check the code I just put in here, you should realize the x and y coordinate. The x, y, and coordinate is basically the coordinate of this component. So it just record the top left actual corner of this component. Okay. So this is the location of these display text. So that's this one. And then once I set the size, set the location, and then I add this display text into the pane. So then it's added into the pane. Okay. And the next one, so we're going to set up each of the button and position the button into the container. Okay. So the initial value for x is 10. Initial value for y is 40, as I mentioned over here. So the initial value, so for this first button, the initial value for x coordinate is 10. The initial value for y coordinate is 10 plus the height of the display text. So it's a 10 plus 30. This display actually text has actually height 30. So it's a 10 plus 30. So this coordinate is actually 10 and 40. So 10 is the x coordinate, 40 is the y coordinate. So you can see that it's moved down. Okay. So then you position that first button. Okay. So that's why the initial setting, it's the initial x coordinate to 10 and the initial y coordinate to 40. And that's also the position for this defines position for button, I believe button 7, for the button 7. So let's check out. So you declare the button, and then you actually call the constructor for button, and you actually position, when you call the constructor, you actually provide the keys, which is the text, which is the string displayed on the button. So what is the keys? This is the keys. It's a key is this array of the string, okay, which contains 16 elements. So the keys, so the index is from 0 to 6. Index is from 0 to 15, okay? So because it's index, when you do the loop from 0 to less than 16, so it's actually from 0 to 15. So the first index 0, that's the first button. When index equals 0, so button 0 actually get the key 0. So if you look at this, you will realize that this is actually each of the button. Okay, let me actually show you this again. Let me use different color. Okay, so you will realize that this is actually the first button. So that's the button 0. And which one is button 1? Which one is button 1? Do I hear anyone? Which one is button 1? This is button 1. Okay, sorry. It's actually, so this is button 1. And that's button 2. And that's button 3. Okay. And then the button 4 going to be this one. 5, 6, 7. That's button 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. And that's 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 15. Now, how should I know this? Each of this is this. Let me actually just show you again. So what I do is I do the index from 0 to 15. So button 0 equals, I declare as a new, call the instructor and put the string key 0 in there. Key 0 is actually 7, right? Key 0 is 7. Key 1 is 8. Key 2 is 9. Key 3, that's key 4. Key 5. Key 6. Key 7. Key 8. So that's basically each of the key. And now the next one is important. When I declare a button for each index, button 0, and then I'm going to actually register the button 0 to something called action listener. Okay. So I register button index, which is 0 initially, to the button handler, which is this. Okay, CBH is a button handler. Okay, so CBS is a button handler. It's actually CBS object. Okay, so I should delete that one. I just redundant. So button handler CBS object. So CBH is an object of calculator button handler. So what is a calculator of button handler? So it is declared over here. So calculator button handler basically increments the action listener. Okay, so this is actually, let me actually scroll down. So I declare a class called a calculator button handler. It's a private class because no one else can call except for the calculator one. This class I'm gonna call it. So this calculator button handler gonna implement the action listener. So the action listener is actually an interface class. Now action listener has, basically declares a method called action performed. Okay. It does not implement it, but it declares the action performed. Now, who will implement the action performed? Every class that implements the action listener has to implement the method. Okay, so every action object, every action class that implements the action listener has to actually implement these action performed. The action performed will actually, it's the method that keep listen to the event. Now the event is actually triggered by clicking the button. So this is actually, I implement the action performed. I'm gonna implement this action performed. That's something I just implemented. So now when the action performed will be triggered. So basically, since the button zero basically register the so we register button zero to the button handler, which actually increments the action performed. So button zero basically registers to the button handler, which is an object of calculate button handler. So it's declared over here. So this is how I declared at the very top. Remember? Okay. So calculate the button handler, CBH, calculate button handler. So this is the object of calculate the button handler, which is defined in this code. Okay, in this calculator one. So it's a class. It's a private class, but this button handler implements the action listener. Okay, so when I register the button zero to action listener to register to the button handler, the calculate button handler, then every time when I click the button, like a 7, okay, now you can see the 7 is displayed in the display, right? So when I click the button 7, so then this CBH, the calculate button handler object, will be triggered. So when the CBH is triggered, then the method action performed will be triggered, and then it will be called. So this method is override method because it's declared in action listener. So because calculate button handler implements the action listener, so I have to implement this particular function. Okay. And then once this action performed is triggered, then I'm going to read, you're going to call by the event. The event is the button click. When I click the button, so this action event is triggered. So this event, and then I read the event. This event is, I call this event by calling the event name, which is particular event, get action command. This will actually get the value which is displayed on the button. So that's why, so I call get action command, and so it's a string. This string value, if I click a button 0, the first button, so what is a string you're going to read? The string is 7. It's a 7. So string will get a 7. Okay. So that's why you will see that later on, so the value of the string will eventually tells you which button was clicked. Okay. If I click 6, okay, so it will trigger the action performed again with event E. And the event will tells you which button was clicked. Because if I call the event dot the E dot get action command, it will return the text on this button, which is 6. So it will get the 6. Okay, the string will get the 6. It's not a number 6; it's a string 6. So it's like it will be like a string 6. Okay, so it's not a number 6. So now you understand that every time when I click the button, the event will be triggered. Okay, and then the value, the string displayed on the button will be received, and it will be assigned to the string. So every time action performed is called, then I will get the string value. The string value is the value on top of the button. Okay. Now suppose the string value is, for example, I click 7. Okay. So then string str gets the value 7. So then in the Java actually statement, the switch statement, once I get a 7, so then the case 7 will be called. Okay. Now in this case, I stack all the values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way to 9 together. So that means every time when either 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 is clicked, I will always trigger this piece of code. Okay, always trigger this piece of code. So so for example, if I click 0, okay, so then 0 is called. The case 0 is triggered. So then I'm gonna execute this piece of code. Now, what does this piece of code tells you? What does this piece of code tells you? So it will check the expression, the variable first import. Okay. Now, what does the first import? Where is the first import defined? It's defined at the very top. As a variable for the calculator 1. So initially, the first import gets a value true. Okay. So if it's true, then I will do this. The num string 1 equals num string 1 plus str. So what is num string 1? The num string 1, as I say, it's the first operand. It's the first operand. Initially, it was set as empty string. It's so both num_string1, num_string2 are the empty string. Okay, so these are empty string. So when I actually click 7, click 0, every time I click a value, this empty string will concatenate with the string I clicked. Okay, it will actually get string I clicked. So then once I actually concatenate num_string1 with the string I clicked, so then you get the value. For example, if I click 7, so initial end string is empty, so empty string concatenate with 7, so now end string 1 equals 7. And then the next statement basically gonna actually display text. I'm gonna set a text, which means the display will display whatever the values of the end string. Okay, so now let's start over again. So if I do this, I click 7. Okay, now action performed will be triggered. Action performed will be triggered. And then case 7 will be executed. So then if that's the first time, the end string is initially empty string. So empty string concatenate with the string 7. So end string 1 gets 7. And then display text. This is actually this text field, J text field, right? Display text actually set the text will display end string 1 on the J text. Display text. It's actually displayed on the J text. Displayed on display actually text. So that's 7 will be displayed. Okay. Now if I click another letter 4, so then this action performed will be triggered again. So then the first import is also true, still true, right? So then case 4 will be triggered, and the first import is still true because I never changed the first import, which is originally true. And then end string is 7, concatenate with 4. So now end string becomes, now the end string will be, what's the end string? Going to be 7, 4, right? So the string actually becomes 7, 4. And then when I set the text on the display text, it will be 7, 4. 7, 4 will be displayed. Okay. So if I continue to trigger, click the number 0 to 9, so it will just keep execute this piece of code. Okay. It will be actually, concatenate the numbers on the end string 1 and continue to display end string 1. Now until, so I click a 5, you're gonna 7, 4, 5, right? So it's still click a 4 again, click 9 again, click 0. So it will continue to concatenate on end string 1. But if I click a button like a plus or minus, if I click these button, okay, if I click division, multiplication, plus or minus, if I click any of these operation, then what happens? So that's the next set of operator. So if I click a plus, minus, multiplication, or division, then whatever I clicked will be actually assigned to the variable called op. It's operator. Okay. So if I click string, if I click these string, then the string will receive this. The string will be a plus, minus, multiplication, division. And then Also, the first index of the string will be assigned to the op. Because these four, there's only one element, one actually character, right? So the index 0 going to be just this one. So index 0 is just the first element, which is either plus, minus, multiplication, or division. So will be assigned to the op. Okay. And then once the operator is clicked, plus, minus, multiplication, division is appraised, then the first import, the variable, this Boolean variable, I will set to false. So I set to false. Why? Because after the operator I pressed, anytime I press the number again, this number is no longer part of the first number. It will be the second number. Okay. So then first import will be false and then break. So that means I'm not going to continue to the next case. So the op will receive whatever character I pressed here. So for example, I press let's say plus. Okay, I click a plus. So if I click a plus, then plus will be called. So the operator OP will get the plus. It's a string plus. And then the first import becomes false. Okay. So the display doesn't see the difference. Okay. Now, however, after this, if I click another number like 1, okay, or 2, I click a 2, okay. Watch the change in the display. If I click 2, 2 is clicked. So this action performed will be called again, and the string value is 2. Now, when I get a 2 this time, watch the change of first import. The first import is no longer true anymore, right? Because after I click the operator, the first import is false. So whatever the number you put in here, it's not the first number anymore. So it's not the first import anymore. So then I'm going to else. In the else, then the num string 2 will be concatenated. Now the display gonna only display the second number. So if I actually press 2 after the operator plus, then 2 will be concatenated with initially the empty string, because num string 2 was initially empty. So num string 2 will be displayed. So that's why 2 is displayed here. Now if I click another number, 3, so then it will be actually this other part of the if statement will be called. So now I actually concatenate the num string 2. So that's why num string 1 define the first operator, num string 2 define the second operator, which is separated by the operator. Okay, plus, minus, or any plus number. And then, so when I feel like, okay, that's enough. I want to evaluate a number because I pressed the first number, I pressed the second number, and I also pressed the plus. So then next one I'm going to do is I press equal, right? Plus equal going to actually add the two numbers I just pressed, which is 7745513. Okay, let me actually perform it again. So I click C, which is clean. I clean the string or screen. So I'm going to say 1, 2 plus 5. I got 17, right? Okay. So again, 1, 2. This is num string 1. Okay. Plus. And then if I plus 5, 1, that's num string 2. Okay. If I click equal, so then it's a 12 plus 51. That's 63. Now, what does equal see? If I click equal, so that means action performed performed will be triggered, and the string will get the value equal. So where's the equal? The case equal, right? The case equal basically says, okay, I got the case equal, so then I'm gonna trigger the method called evaluate. Evaluate, okay? Now where's the evaluate? Evaluate is a method I defined, okay? Now once I click the evaluate, then evaluate is gonna return a result. So that the result is, if I click plus, the result is the addition of two numbers. Now where's the evaluate? So let's go over here to check the evaluate, okay? So this is actually also a method defined as evaluate. Now, you can actually always put this one here, because if something goes wrong, it will actually make a sound like a beep sound, okay? So you don't have to put this one here, but I put it here. So, and then the main part of this evaluate is, so forget about a try. Try is an approach that if I type something wrong, you're going to generate an error message. But so the evaluator basically going to do is, so what I do is I'm going to evaluate non-string 1. Remember, if I click 12, let's say, if I click a 12, 12 going to be a non-string 1. But just remember, non-string 1 is not a number. It is a string which contains the number 12, okay? So non-string 2 is a, I actually click plus, and then I click 51. So the non-string 2 is 51, which is a string, okay? Now, how can you actually add these two numbers, 12 plus 15? If I actually put the 12 plus 51 as a string, so what is the result? Do I hear anyone? If I put the actually like a string 12 plus string 51, what will be the result? Now just keep it in mind. So 12 plus 51, if I actually add these two strings, so what is the result? Is this gonna be 36, 33, or 63? Okay. No one gave me the answer. What is plus gonna do? That's a concatenate. So it's a 1, 2, I 1. So it will not give you the answer you need. Okay. So that's the reason why you need to convert 12 into a number. So then, because then this time I use the rep class integer. So I call integer pass int. So this is gonna actually give you the value inside the string. Okay. So num1 what becomes 12. Okay. And num2 becomes 51. So this is gonna actually take off the double quotes and get the number inside. Okay, so num1 get 12, num2 get 51. So now initially I set the result to 0. So then I check the op. Okay. Remember, if the op I pressed was plus, then the result is going to be num1 plus num2. If the op I press is minus, then the result is going to be num1 minus num2. Now, if the op is multiplication star, then it's num1 multiply num2. If the op is division, it's a num1 divided by num2. Okay. And then I'm going to return the result. But when I return the result, I'm going to change this result. The result is, the final result going to be, because it's the operation is plus, right? So the result is going to be 63, right? But when I return the result, I want to return the result as a string, because eventually I'm going to want to display it. So that's why the result I'm going to call one of the method in the string called value of. So the value of string is 63, and I convert into a string. So actually, I'm going to return 63. So then the value is returned. Okay. When I call this evaluate, so the result, the value is returned is, for this particular example, result string, it's 63. Okay. Then I display the result string, which is 63. Okay. So when I click equal, so this case equal will be triggered. Okay. 63. Okay. Now once I return, then I'm going to say, okay, 63 is the value. Now what I do is I'm going to set, num string 1 equals the result, and num string 2 equals empty string, because I want to use this again as the first actual operand. And then if I actually continue to operate it, so like now I got a 63, right? So I can just say, okay, now 63, I want to multiply, click multiply by 2. So I got 126. So that's a result. And then the result string becomes 126. And now, and also the first import set to false, okay? Because num string 1 already has a value. So if I click any number after the after I click the operation, if I click any number, that number will be actually num string 2. Okay. So what is C? C is clean. Okay, I want to clean the screen. So when I click C, clean, then this will be triggered, right? So again, the button C will be triggered. Okay, once the button C is triggered, and then action perform will be actually called, and then with the string value C, okay, capital C. So then C is triggered. Now if C is triggered, now what are you gonna do? You're gonna clean the screen, right? So when I'm gonna actually display text. I set the text to empty string. Okay, display empty string, and then I reset the num string 1 to empty string, num string 2 to empty string, and the first importer to true, because both n string 1 and string 2, num string 1, num string 2 are empty. So the first import set to true. So every time when I click the number, so these number will be assigned to string 1. And then when I click operator, this first import is going to be reset to false. So if you check the code, just to check each of the method I implemented, just make sure you understand how this code actually works. I think my part is done. So in the code, so this num string 1, num string 2 basically stores each of the operand. When I actually perform the plus or minus, so num string 1 is the first number, num string 2 is the second number, and in between these two numbers is the operator, is a plus, minus, or multiplication or division. Okay. Do you have any questions on this? Have you actually read the project? Any questions? Okay. Now please actually read the project itself. Okay, let me actually show. And also, I want you to read the project, final project itself, project 4. I want you to perform a couple of operation. Okay. Now, so please start to work on this. And on Friday, I'm still gonna be on. I'm not gonna. I'm not teaching, but I will be sitting there just answer any questions you might have. Okay. Now this is actually the project. So if you perform the operation 121 plus 34 equal, so you click 1, 2, 1 plus 3, 4 equal, and if you press 8 minus divided by 3, so now there are a couple of things you need to realize. Now this calculate only works for integer. Okay, this only works for integer. It works for integer only. Now, what does that mean? So if I actually click I could click 7 divided by 3, you will get 2. Okay. So it's not really accurate number. 7 divided by 2. Let's see, 7 divided by 2. 7 divided by 2 is 3. So actually 7 divided by 2 is 3.5, right? But this calculator only display 3.3. Why? Because in Java, if you actually divide 7, do the perform the 7 divided by 2, you're gonna divide, you're gonna actually, the result is gonna be 3.5, but the result in Java, if both operands are integer, the result is gonna be integer. So 3.5 will be eventually converted to 3, which is not really accurate, but that's fine. If I actually say my calculator only works for integer, people will understand. Now, I want you to do a couple of things. Okay. So I want you to fix some of the bugs over here. Okay. The reason for this is because if you look at the source code, in the evaluate, so the string over here is integer, and then the number when I appear of the string is the number actually inside is actually assigned as an integer, right? So num1 is integer, num2 is integer. So when I perform division, it's num1 divided by num2. So both of these are integers. So the result is going to be an integer 2. So 7 divided by 2 is going to be 3. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to fix this problem. Okay. Now, a couple of things I want you to fix. So one, this calculator has a problem. Okay. Now, let me show you what's the problem. I displayed over here. So this is a bug. You know, in the current code, after you complete the operation, okay, the new operation won't generate the correct result. For example, now if I actually say, if you perform 1 to 1, okay, so 1 to 1 plus 34. If I click equal, so this is give you 155, right? Which is correct, right? Now, however, if I actually use this 155 as one of the operator and continue to operation, say 155 divided by 5, I got 31. I think it's still correct. And then use this as an operator and a minus 1, I got 30. These are all correct. However, there's one problem. If I say 121 plus 34 equal this, and then next one, I want to actually start a new calculation. So I decided to print like a 121 minus 34. You're going to see that 121 minus 34, it won't give you any errors. If I click equal, this is going to give you like a strange number. Okay, how can I fix that one? Now, do you see the problem here? So if I say 121 plus 34, I got 155. And then I was, if I actually click a clean and I start over, it should be okay. Okay. Now, if I click a clean, but many times when I use the calculator, I generate the result. And I don't want to click a clean. I just want to click the next number, say 12 minus 5. Now you can see 12 minus 5. It's going to actually print all everything in there. And if I click equal, this gives you 30. So 12 minus 5, this should be 7, right? Not 30. So this is actually, it's going to generate a strange value. Why? You need to figure out why. Okay. I want you to fix that problem. Okay. And then also I want you to do is I want you to modify the code and save the code and create a class called calculate2. Now the calculate2 should be built upon calculate1. And in calculate2, I want you to actually add 2 more buttons. Okay, 2 more buttons. Okay. So in this case, I want you to actually perform the arithmetic for the real number, not just the integer. Okay. So when I do the addition, division, it could be integer or it could be real number. Okay. So I add a period, just a point. And also I want you to create a plus or minus, plus slash minus, forward slash minus. So that means you're allowed to add a plus or minus sign. Okay. Now once you actually done this is not really nice looking calculator because they're missing something over here. So then I want you to add some, okay, I want you to add some more points. And this could be, I want you to actually you can use this as a bonus. Okay. Let's see. So please check the blackboard. Let me see the blackboard here. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I want you to add as a bonus. That's optional. Okay. If you want to continue to work on and add two more button. One is called SR. That's the square root. Okay. And that's, 2. That's the power. So when I actually click 4 square root, and then you will get 2. Okay. So that's a square root. Okay. If you put the actually, 2.5, I click this button, so you will get the 2.5 square. Okay, you will get the result, something like this. So for example, so if you want to calculate 12.1 plus square root of 4, so you're gonna click 12.1 plus 4 square root. So this is gonna generate the 2. Okay, get you 2, and then you can do the continue to do this, and the 81 times 1.2 square, then 8.1 times 1.2 put a square. Oh, I'm sorry, there's no, this is wrong. This should be eliminated. Okay. Okay. So you're gonna add additional button. One is do the square root, the other one is do the square. But that's optional. Um, so this actually summation of bonus problem is optional. Okay. So any questions? Let me actually show you how this actually works. Okay. Probably you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the calculator 2 gonna look like this. Okay, so now you can press like a 7.12 plus 2.3. So you got 9.3. Now 4.2 divided by 5. So you're gonna perform this operation, and then if you actually put a 4 and you click plus or minus, so this is going to actually get you a -4. And if you click plus minus, you back to +4 and a +4. So this is actually just like, if you click, back and forth, you're going to set up for 4. So then -4, 3 plus 2. So this is going to give you -4.1, -41, -41, something like this. So I want you to actually make a calculator like this. And later on, as an optional, you should add 2 more buttons. One is a square. The other one is square root. So you can perform the square root. Okay. I think that's pretty much all I have. Do you have any questions? Okay, no questions from me, Alex. Anyone else? Okay, Samuel, Kerala? No?
Sorry, no.
Okay. So I think you can start to work on these projects now. If you have any question, you can email me. And also on Friday, it's going to be another, question and answer section. Okay. I think that's pretty much all for today. Um, if you don't have any question, then that's pretty much it.